Hello, small groups. This is for the week of February 21st. Good news, we are halfway through February. So, our scripture for this week is John chapter 1, verses 1 through 18. We will be using the Gospel of John as we look at Jesus, obviously, but also as we're in the season of Lent. And so, you're invited. We're doing actually a small group on Facebook. Please feel free to join. Let me find the title again. John, the Gospel of Light and Life. And so we'll post videos on there. It's a great way to engage, but engage at your own pace. And so those who are embarking on that study and the whole church are invited to read the whole Gospel of John during the 40 days of Lent. So, good news, you can start with John chapter 1. So I wanted to point out a couple things one thing that I brought up in the sermon is we often translate logos as a word, that Jesus was the Word and the Word was with God. But this word logos can also be translated as plan. And so God had a plan, and that plan was always with God. And so I invite you to kind of reread that passage with substituting word as plan and see if that helps to know that God has a plan. Another verse I wanted to point out to you is in verse 14. So it says, the Word became flesh and lived among us. We have seen the glory as of a Father's only Son, full of grace and truth. And so a friend pointed out to me this week that the word lived among us. That word in Greek actually means tabernacled. Now, for those of you who know your Old Testament well, or those of you who are embarking on Kelly's wonderful study using a Bible app, you might remember that we recently read about tabernacle. So tabernacle was God's home before the people had been able to build a temple. Excuse me. In fact, God didn't want the temple. God was okay with this tabernacle, but God was very specific of what God wanted. Special wood, special gold, special things to be put in this tabernacle. And so we see again this link to the Old Testament in this passage that God tabernacled among us. God came down to be among us. So I just want you to reflect on that this week. What does it mean for God to tabernacle with us? What does it mean that the darkness will not be overcome, that the light will actually overcome the darkness? Just a reminder, one translation of that darkness is murky bottom. So what does it mean that the murky bottom doesn't win? I think it was just last week we had fog. What does it mean that the fog doesn't win? Because the truth is many of us feel disoriented. Disoriented because of COVID, disoriented because of life. And so when we're in a period of disorientation, we seek order, we seek control. And one way to emerge out of that disorientation is to orient ourselves to the cross. And Lent is a perfect season for us to do just that. To know that the murky bottom doesn't win, that instead Christ wins. And Christ will come again, and God will tabernacle with us forever. So I invite you to reflect on that passage and to continue to read the Gospel of John this week. I'm praying for you. I'm praying for more sunshine as we're reminded that the rain doesn't win, though it feels like the rain and the fog and the clouds have been winning. We know that the light will come out. All right, friends, hope you have a wonderful week. As always, please let me know how I can be praying for you.